So I understand it might be a little difficult for you to talk about your time behind bars. Is it? Or is it
I think soon after I was arrested, soon after I was released, it was
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah.
But since now, but I think I'm happy to talk about it.
All right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, can you just talk us through the experience? I mean, this must have been the first time you found yourself on the other side of those bars. What were those initial first days like? How did you, were you able to sort of form a community, or were there times when you felt you were really scared for your life? Just a general encapsulation of what that experience might have been like.
Right. So all along, I had been on the other side of the legal system, and never thought that I'll find myself as a PTA detainee. So when I realized that I was a PTA detainee and gradually becoming like the most wanted man in Sri Lanka at a point, I had some serious issues about how am I will I come out of this? And how am I going to come out of this? Because it was very clear that the government and the police were very determined to do everything that they can to keep me behind bars for a very long period of time. So initially, of course, I had some bouts of anxiety hitting me, but I was also determined. To fight. And a lot of people were telling me that, I'm the CID, they were telling me your life is over, you're never going to wear that black coat again, you're never going to live life as you lived it or wanted to live it.
Did that have an impact on you? Did you sort of find yourself accepting that?
No, I didn't.
Right.
I didn't for several reasons. One, I had faith in our legal system. I had faith in my lawyers. I had faith in the rest of the legal community. I also knew that my file, that all what's going on here would one day be reviewed by an officer in the Attorney General's department. And I had been an officer in the Attorney General's department, and I knew that the people there were intelligent and decent and people who will look at it impartially and objectively. And so I had confidence in that. And I also knew the character and caliber of our judiciary. And I knew that one day I will be tried by a High Court judge, and I knew that the judges are not going to do anything wrong or unjust, and they are going to be and they are committed to delivering justice. Now in this, I must say, Group A, the lawyers, and Group B, the judges, delivered.
Yes.
And I'm thankful to the judges who heard my cases, the 4th Magistrates Court and High Court Puttalam and the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court. The judges delivered. But the Attorney General's department, I'm disappointed.
Yes, that's putting it mildly, I bet. But also a lot of faith in the judiciary.
Yes, and that's a message that I want to give everybody in society, is that we have a good legal system.
Right.
Our legal system has issues in terms of delays and how it works, but the people working it are excellent. And the lawyers who are participating in that process with the judges are also very committed to delivering justice, and we've seen that happening, I think, in the last few days.
Yes.
So have faith and stay strong.
Well, that's a good message. But what gave you faith? I mean, in your darkest moments, because you did spend 22 months in jail. I mean, what gave you courage? What gave you strength in your darkest moments?
Yes. Also, my religion.
Yeah.
And faith in God, and the fact that there is a plan for me, and there is a destiny, and that destiny, that it will work itself out. Just as much as I never planned to be locked up, it happened.
Yes.
And just as much as I got myself into this, or just as much as destiny brought me here, that destiny will take me out.
Okay.
And at another level, I mean on a day-to-day level, the fact that people were talking about me,
Yes.
that really kept me going.
Okay.
When I was remanded, so my incarceration had two phases. One was the CID phase for 10 months, where I was a detainee.
Yeah.
No TV, no newspapers, no connection, no real connection with the outside world.
And were you in like solitary confinement or?
More or less,
Right.
more or less,
Right.
more or less solitary confinement. Allowed to go to use the toilet and all. Having my first day, having a shower and trying to wash my clothes. And then this individual came by and he said, that's not how you wash clothes in prison.
Right.
I said, well, I don't know. I've never
Yeah.
been to prison.
My
He
first
asked-
rodeo.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
said, this is your first day? He said, yeah, don't worry, I've been in prison in and out.
Okay.
I'll teach you how to wash your clothes. And this guy washed his clothes. And I asked, what's your name? He says, I'm Madhush. So there were two phases to my incarceration. CID detainee, no newspapers, no TV. But then I was remanded. There I was able to watch TV, and I didn't quite enjoy watching the news because always there was something negative. But then we also had moments where they'll say today at the UN HRC session, the commissioner raised several issues with the government, including so and so, Amnesty International, so and so, academics talk about him, the Catholic clergy talking about him. And when I saw those, it was like, and in fact, not just for me, but everybody else in the ward who was sitting and watching that, it was like a goal at the World Cup final. And they're like, yeah, because we were happy that, that people were talking about us.
Of course, yeah.
And so that kept us really motivated. And that's another thing that I want to request from everybody who's watching this program.
Yeah.
Talk about these people, talk about what's happening to those people behind bars, because don't forget them, because they are human beings, they have families, they have daughters, they have wives, and they're all aching to come out. So, don't forget them.
Yeah. So these are all people essentially being held without charges.
Not all of them, but
Some of
quite some of them. And also, one thing I've realized, and as a lawyer, I always thought that if you get arrested and if you are remanded and you are indicted, there has to be something. This guy did something.
Yeah.
But I've been behind bars and I've met those people, and I can easily say at least 10 to 15% of those people behind bars today are innocent.
All right. Let's talk about your case, right? So now you were arrested, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but you're arrested for aiding and abetting key perpetrators of the Easter Sunday bombings, right? Now, as far as I've read, and I've read up quite a bit before we did this, no charges have been brought. Am I correct?
No charges have been brought with regard to aiding and abetting Easter Sunday bombers or the Easter Sunday bombings.
Yeah.
Although the investigation went on that line.
Yes.
Went on that line.
Yeah.
At the moment, I have been indicted before the High Court for a lecture, alleged lecture that I gave, that I'm supposed to have given in 2018 August. In August, I think, yeah.
Right. Now,
which is completely false, and I have denied it.
This is where a young man has come forward and said that you attended this particular school and you gave a speech saying that all Catholics must be killed or something like that, something to that effect.
That's the indictment.
Right.
That's the indictment.
And
I'm denying that.
You are denying that.
Yeah.
And I mean, you mentioned this a little bit earlier. There were 6 other children who came into court and said basically that they had been asked to say that you came and you gave this lecture.
Right at this point in time, 6 or 4 children have filed fundamental rights applications before the Supreme Court.
We didn't know that.
Where they have said that the police attempted to coerce them to recording statements implicating me.
Yeah.
Not only the kids, several others as well. The famous poet Ahnaf Jazim
Yeah.
has said that. And
Wait, let me stop you there. So they wanted Anaf Jazim to say that you had tried to make him, what, militant?
Ahnaf has given, I have not spoken to Ahnaf.
Right.
I'm speaking out of a newspaper interview that he
Right.
had given, where he mentions that the TID wanted him to say that I paid him a salary, and that yeah, I think they wanted him to say that I paid him a salary, and yeah, that's what they wanted him
Right,
to say.
and wanted him to sort of put out
This book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which everyone is saying is beautiful poetry and is actually against kind of fundamentalism. Yeah.
I think there was I think they made a mistake with the translations.
Right.
And went on another wild goose chase there. So
Yeah. Okay, so can we talk now, because it's very much in the news these days, can we talk about the Prevention of Terrorism Act, now that you've been held for 22 months under it? What is your opinion of it, and what do you think of the new amendments that were put forward by GL Pires?
The Court of Appeal judgment, in which the court granted me bail, an excellent judgment I must say, called it a draconian law.
Yeah.
In fact, the court asks, until the law is amended, are we as judges to fold up our hands and watch and allow all this injustice, the cycle of abuse to continue?
Yeah.
So I would say the same thing. It is a very cruel and inhuman law. There are no parameters about applying it. There is no definition of what's terrorism. There's no. There are people who put up Facebook posts who are being held under the PTA for 18 months. For 18 months. And what is your offense? A Facebook post.
Yeah.
People who are being held 18 months for associating a guy who put up a Facebook post. The law as it is puts a huge wall and cuts you off from having access to the judiciary, to courts.
Right.
Because moment they arrest you and they say we arrest you under the PTA, they hit you with a detention order and then you're detained.
Yeah.
And then it's very difficult for you to penetrate that. But I must say, talking about the amendments are more or less cosmetic.
I was going to say, I mean, that has been the general feedback. There's GL Pires saying, this is the best that we can do at this time. He came out in the papers to say something very similar. But the general reaction from the local NGO sector and from lawyers, everyone in general saying, this is just sort of plastering the cracks.
But there is a silver lining in the fact that it opens up a few doors for judicial intervention.
Yes, because it does say a magistrate.
Magistrate will visit the place.
Yeah.
The Court of Appeal has a jurisdiction to grant bail. The High Court has been granted jurisdiction. There are lots of, it's all highly conditional.
Yeah.
But there are little doors, windows of opportunities for judicial intervention, and that's something that will be a very positive development if the judiciary grabs onto that opportunity to do the right thing, and I have a very, very strong feeling that the judges will do it.
So, what was your prison routine? I mean, I'm sure like me, there's a lot of people curious about what you did every day. You're also curious, aren't you? Yes? Yeah, she is.
Yeah. So, when I was in the CID, we were basically locked up 24 hours. No exercise, no sunlight, very little human interaction. but being in remand, I was remanded and I was staying at the New Magazine prison for 1 year.
Yeah.
There things were much better.
Right.
So we were in cells, but we were the cell. The cell.
She clearly objects to you having been in jail, right?
The cell doors were opened from 9:30.
Right.
So 9:30, 12:30 it's open. So we spend all of us spend time exercising, washing our clothes, and having a bath, and then we are locked in again after lunch till about 2 o'clock, and then from 2 to 5:30 again we are allowed to roam around.
Right.
So that was the time. 2 to 4 was the time I had my legal consultations under a banana tree.
Right.
Seated under a banana tree.
In this banana republic. Who said that? Who said that?
Because the inmates had a lot of legal issues.
Yeah.
Not only their criminal cases, but also family issues, divorce, custody, maintenance, and they had lots of land, people grabbing their properties because they were locked up.
Yeah.
So I was helping them coordinate with their lawyers, advising them what are the points they should discuss with their lawyers,
Right.
Writing letters for them, and then from 4 to 5 I taught English to my fellow inmates. So I had a little small English class going. We got reading material and learning resources through my wife when she comes on visits, Ladybird books, and that was a good time.
There is something to that idea that you can reform a little bit within the system.
Yes, and I think that's also another thing that we need to have a serious conversation about. What do our prisons achieve?
Yeah.
What are they doing with people inside? Is there any real program happening to changing their lives and getting them out of whatever that got them?
Is there any real? I mean, you were in there.
No, I wouldn't say there's. I think we need to do a lot more work. We need to do a lot more work. There is a little bit, but I feel it's not enough.
Yeah.
And I think we need to start really looking at it more carefully.
Okay, now Hejaaz, you've talked about all the positive things like teaching English and consulting with your inmates. Was there ever a time when, things got a little rowdy, or did you have protection? You don't have to answer that.
No, there were some. Initially, when I came in, obviously people tried to assert themselves. The power, the struggles. Always, I think that's something that happens everywhere.
I think I've watched too much of Orange Is the New Black.
Yes,
I was just wondering, did you have instances or incidents?
So initially, I think the first day or two,
yeah,
there were people trying to sort of bully me.
Okay.
Right. But the positive thing was, everybody in prison has a lawyer, and they meet up their lawyers and they say, X is inside, he's my friend.
Okay.
Look after him.
All right.
So that was a good thing.
Okay.
That was a good thing. So they meet their lawyers, and their lawyers tell them, look, my
Lay
friend.
off that guy.
Yeah. So then they come and say, do you know so and so? I said, yeah, he's my friend. We're
really close.
Really close.
Good buddies.
Yeah. Then they say he spoke to me and he was this thing. And the next day morning, I get my cup of tea. They make tea for me and they're looking after me. And they say, don't worry, if you have anything, we will look after you. We will, and all that.
Okay.
And then of course I started advising them, helping them with their cases. Then teaching English, and so then I had my very good safety net. So then thereafter I was untouchable.
They must really miss you now that you're gone.
They do. I think they had a nice farewell for me.
Okay.
Where with the limited resources they had a little farewell party.
Wow.
Made little cards and all of that, and I'm trying to help them also with their cases. Of course, they have lawyers who are working and representing them. But I'm trying to help them with a little bit of support. I owe it to my friends there.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Good friends to have, some
Yes,
of them.
yes, yes.
All right. This has been Kota Uda. Hejaaz Hizbullah, thank you so much for joining us with your family. We've really enjoyed having you in the studio, and we hope you continue the good work that you have been doing in and out of prison.
Thank you, Tracy. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed this.
Good. I'm glad.